Good evening to everyone. We are here tonight and this morning for webinar. It's a free webinar, and we have two of our esteemed security experts, our founder and president of CyTech, Mr. Ken Heffer. Good morning, Sir Ken.
Good morning, Mitch. Thank you.
And our esteemed managing partner of CyTech, Sir Offer. Good evening to you from Israel.
Hello, good evening.
Hi. So you may start.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you for the intro. We will take it from here. And thank you, everyone who is participating. I see that we have quite a crowd here. I see Adina from Israel. I see Alexandre from Angola. Welcome. Some of them from CyTech, some of them from our first or second circle around CyTech or around us. As you can see, we are spread all over the world today. Hi, Alexandre.
Hi.
Good evening.
I miss you. Good evening.
Yes, I miss you too, my friend. Thank you. So we have people from basically all over the world. The way to really judge this or to know that you're having people from all over the world is that when they say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So for our people in the Philippines, the Far East, the Southeast Asia, not only that it's very hot in there, as we can all hear that one in the news, but it's almost midnight, so it's almost tomorrow for them. So it's 11 o'clock, so by the end of this webinar, it will already be tomorrow, the 3rd, May 3rd for you. So thank you everybody for joining us. This webinar is the first amongst a few that we're going to do in the next few months. And the background behind this webinar is vast. I mean, Wolfgang and I can talk about this, the background itself, just about the background. We can talk at least an hour and give you all the stories behind it. But I think most of the stuff that we want to share with you about the background is less important for the workplace itself. It's more important for the understanding of how CyTech evolved from a consultation and training company into consultation, training, and services company. So CyTech today, almost hitting 100 employees worldwide. We expanded immensely in the past couple of years with the help of a lot of good people in Israel, in the Philippines. We have 𝗖𝗵𝗦𝗢 with us, our VP SecOps. We have Aljon, our VP CR&D. Both are the engines behind our work and expansion this past couple of years, and with them a lot of good people all over the world, and the story is out there. We will probably get to it later on if we have time. But for now, my suggestion is that we dive into the workplace itself, the CISO workplace itself, and the way that we would like to do this webinar, since it's the first amongst many, we would like to take it directly to the CISO workplace and present the work that was accomplished, rather than talk about the way that we got us here. And with your comments and with your feedback, we will probably evolve to the next webinars that we will take. So you are more than welcome to participate on chat during the webinar, and we will leave some time at the end of this hour, at the top of this hour, for some Q&A and maybe special requests from the audience here. So without further ado, Ofer, why don't you just show us the workplace while I explain what the workplace is. Again, without going through the motions yet, just present it there. Thank you, Ofer. Try to make it like a full screen so we will see that one and not your favorites. I love your favorites, but still some lawyer stuff in there. Um, what is the CISO workplace? Probably a question that runs around the room here. The CISO workplace is the ultimate platform for any organization to manage their cybersecurity. That means that when I'm looking at cybersecurity list of tasks, everything that I do, whether it's a routine task or whether it's an emergency task, doesn't matter. We live within this two areas of things that are going wrong or things that might go wrong. These are the emergencies that we call them, the things that already went wrong, or things that might go wrong. This is the routine way of living, if you may, of the CISO. So the CISO workplace is in trying to encompass all of them together under one hood, under one platform. And the way we built it is to give you the opportunity to see everything and to have every possible area covered, area of concern in cybersecurity, whether it's CISO or not CISO, but area of concern covered for you to be able to get all the data that you need without being the CISO, the expert CISO that are out there that you cannot afford or your organization cannot afford. Or if you are a CISO that the organization can afford, then you probably cannot afford that many dashboards or that many views of so many vendors. So what we did is we put everything under one platform. The world, it's important to say that, the world is going this direction of unified platforms that are SaaS-based, SaaS solution as a service. So this is really the direction that we took in CyTech, started a couple of years ago, and then evolved the last year, specifically the past 6 months. And the CISO workplace that we're going to present to you today is a representation of a lot of experience, a lot of years of experience that we have between me and Ofer, but mostly a lot of frustrations that we share as cyber experts, as CISOs in organizations. We work with small, medium enterprises, whether organizations that have a CISO, whether organizations that don't have a CISO. If they don't have a CISO, it's easier for us. We come in, we do our own agenda, we work with the workplace, everything is there. We already bought in, okay? The management is loving this CISO workplace just because of the dashboard. So they start to understand what's behind our work. We work with it, we present it on weekly meetings that we have, seeing here and there, projects, compliance, everything is in there. Very easy for organizations to understand. Organizations that have already CISOs, that's the trick. Organizations that have already CISOs are probably enterprises that can afford a CISO. It doesn't matter, the experience that CISO has, but they can afford a CISO. So you need to understand that worldwide, the number of CISOs worldwide that we have is a little over 32,000 people. Worldwide, all industries, all countries in the world, European Union, US, Canada, UK, all the world CISO, you put them together, you get 32,000 people, that's it. And I'm not talking about certified CISOs or CISO as a service, I'm talking about full-time CISOs. Now, if you narrow it down and look at the US alone, small, medium businesses in the US alone, oddly, the number of those SMBs is 32 million. So you put the two together, 32,000 CISOs worldwide and 32 million SMBs, small, medium businesses in the US alone. Even if you take all the CISOs in the world and put them in the US, you still get 1 to 1,000. And the question is, what will the other 999 will do? That's the question that the CISO workplace is here to answer. Most organizations will go for consultants. We know because we are consultants. Most organizations will go for consultants / CISO as a service, which is estimated today as the market, the size of the market is about $10 billion. You need to understand, worldwide, $10 billion for CISO as a service. 1 day a week, half a day a week, doesn't matter. We know it all. We've been there. We do that. And some organizations will settle for an insurance coverage. They will say, I cannot handle this. I cannot do cybersecurity. It's too big for me. So I'll just have an insurance for this. Some organizations will do both. They'll have a consultant or CISO as a service and insurance policy, and they will say, okay, let's just hope for the best. And hope is not a good strategy for risk management. Cybersecurity is risk management. However, we always remind our clients and remind ourselves and remind our students, some of you are here, that cybersecurity is the tail. The tail doesn't walk the dogs. Okay, the tail shouldn't wag the dog. The dog is the business, quote unquote. When you draw a picture of a horse, imagine yourself sitting down and drawing a picture of a horse. You don't start with the tail. You start with the head. You start with the body, the legs, and everything, and then you get to the tail, because it's a derivative of the drawing that you just made. That's exactly how cybersecurity should work. That's our agenda about cybersecurity. This is how we act as CISOs. I personally have been doing this for almost 30 years now, and I'm excited every time that I do that. That's why I still do that. Cybersecurity is a very challenging field to be in, and very challenging field to be in for decades. But I'm still doing this because I'm excited, and this CISO workplace is making me even more excited. So the way we should do this, the way we will do this webinar today is Ofer will take the role of presenting to me as a CISO, and I will do my best to represent the CISOs out there and questions that we get. Know that we CyTech already worked with over 80 organizations worldwide with the CRAM, with this approach that I just mentioned to you and presented to you, and we're starting to onboard them one after the other into the workplace. So we have quite a few onboarded already, and with every onboarding organization, whether it's small, medium, or enterprises, there's room for everybody, or MSSPs actually, and consultants. This workplace is evolving. It's doing more and more and more for everybody to achieve more from it. So, Ofer, why don't you take the lead of the presenter, and let's start the webinar.
Okay, thank you very much, Chen, for the introduction. I hope you will take it easy on me with your questions today.
I'll try my best.
Yeah.
Cannot promise.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining. I will start presenting the workplace now, pretty much as we do that with our own prospects and new clients that we meet with pretty much on a daily basis in the last few weeks. So welcome everyone. What you see here is our CISO workplace. What we're presenting right now is the main dashboard of the system. The system is built out of 25 modules. The modules you currently see in gray are modules that are in production right now. Some of them will be, they're in development. They'll be in production in about, some of them within a few weeks, some of them until the third quarter of 2024. This is currently our roadmap. The modules that you see here in white are modules that are already working, already in production: endpoint detection and response, cyber incident monitoring, security and privacy compliance, and more, and we will go through them one by one. So what we see here in the main dashboard is actually a representation of the main data that we collect in all of the different modules. For example, you can see here from your risk management module, your current risk score, threat, vulnerability, and impact score, just to give you a representation of what's going on from a risk perspective in your organization. I will get to this one in a second, but you can also see from your incident monitoring, you can see top concerns, top cyber incidents, the top cases that you're actually managing right now in your SOC, security compliance, your progress for each project that you're doing, your social engineering. You just ran phishing campaigns and you want to see the status, how many people opened, how many people were compromised, etc., etc. And everything here is very, very customizable. It's all comprised out of widgets, meaning I don't care about my risk score. It doesn't interest me. I can just simply remove that one and make more room for the widgets that actually interest. So what is this beautiful thing here? So at CyTech, we developed a methodology called CRAM. The purpose of CRAM is to bridge the gap that we've noticed in most organizations we're working with between the business of the organization, and the cyber and IT. As we all well know, cyber and IT speak, the technical language with all of those acronyms, WAF, NAC, whatever. Business basically speak the language of money. This is what they care about. And when we speak different languages to each other, we get lost in translation. And everybody's frustrated. If I'm a business manager, I don't get what I need from cyber to support my business. If I'm a manager in cyber, I don't get what I need from the business to support the business, okay? To execute my work plan, to understand the needs of the business, etc. And to bridge that gap was a very important task for us. And this is 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 actually starts with a deep dive into the analysis of the business. We identify the mission statement of the business. We identify the critical business processes, the money makers of the organization, and those critical business functions, those people, processes, and technologies that make these processes actually work and deliver the services or products that we deliver as a company. And this is the business analysis, and beneath that, we start the cyber analysis, those attack vectors and threats and vulnerabilities, attack surfaces, and all of those parameters that allow us to build our cybersecurity program to support the business now that we actually know the business and able to support that. So once we do this—
I do have a question here because it triggers some questions that were raised by some of our prospects that we were presenting to these days. And I will represent that CEO that asked the question. It sounds like you're doing business consultation. Are you cyber or business? Well, what are you? Because you're asking me questions about money making. It doesn't add up. It sounds to me like cyber people should stick with technologies. So what is this position that you're holding now?
So we're not actually providing business consultation, but we are providing cybersecurity consultation that aligns with your business, that supports your business. This is the entire goal of providing cybersecurity, to provide support for your business. There's no reason to just do cybersecurity. There's no purpose in that. You are a business, you're here to make some profit. You have to do some cybersecurity in order to do that. But for the cybersecurity and privacy efforts to actually benefit your business, they have to align with your business. So we're not here to tell you how to do your business. We're here to understand how you do business in order to support this as best as we can, either through the workplace system or through the other services that we provide.
Yeah, and I remember a conversation I had a few years ago with a fine, good man, good professional cyber expert who's with us today, Josh. I'm sorry for targeting you, but your face is on my screen, Josh Bernstein. And I don't know if you remember, but yeah, hi, Josh. So I don't know if you remember, but in our conversation, you kept repeating that cybersecurity is the cost of doing business today. And I said, I cannot agree with you more. And I think, when we look at cybersecurity, and I mentioned the tail and the dog and all this, it's exactly that, way of thinking that is putting us as cyber experts in the right place of the business. If you understand your place in the business, now you know how hard your work or how much your work influences the success of the business. It's like knowing where you are when you're rowing the boat, right?
And it can actually help you. It can actually help you stop being in this place that is considered as the cost of doing business, and put you in a place where you are contributing to the business. You're not just the cost center in the company, you're also contributing, at least partially, to the ROI of the company. We can give a lot of examples.
I just mentioned Josh here because I just want to mention that this conversation with Josh is just another example of the experience, the vast experience that both Ofer and I accumulated over the year and put it all here. So even the conversation with you, Josh, is here. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for this question, Khan. So what we see here is basically the representation of what we just spoke about. So you can see this is CyTech. This is basically the CyTech environment. And we can see our CBPs, the critical business processes. cybersecurity operations, CISO services, and CR&D, our Cyber Research and Development Center. And they are surrounded by their CBFs, the critical business functions, those same people, processes, and technologies that makes them tick. And you can see that some of them are colored. That means that this CBF is currently under, there's some kind of alert there, maybe some kind of case being currently investigated. There's some kind of threat, or maybe.
Can you explain, can you elaborate on the CBP and CBF, please? I mean, what's the connection between them?
Sure. So let's take, for example, the Cyber Research and Development Center for CyTech. This is one of our critical business processes. What you see here, the worklist, is currently being developed by our Cybersecurity Research and Development Center. So this is one of our major money makers, and this is why it's a critical business process. But to make this process work, we need people, processes, and technologies. It won't work without the VP of R&D that is leading this department. It won't work without the developers. So the people are a crucial part here, but also the processes. We need SSDLC, for example. Okay? And also technologies. We use Jira, we use Git, we use AWS, all of those technologies that make this department actually work. So we have people, processes, and technologies. So here we can see the process.
So you're saying let me just make sure we all understand this. What you're saying is that in order for us to make money, CyTech, in order for us to make money from software development, right, we need to have the people, processes, and technologies in place. And what you have here on the map helps you as our CISO or our cyber or our IT guy that is responsible for the cyber, or maybe even I saw somewhere that the finance team is responsible for this on paper. So basically you're telling me this is what it is made of. So when something here is going wrong in that area, in that island of research and development, you immediately know if you have an interruption in one of your key processes in the company.
Yeah. So basically this picture is not cyber. This is a business representation of my organization. This is how CyTech makes its money.
Do you have it in 3D?
Yeah. I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah. 𝗖𝗵𝗦𝗢.
Okay.
It's a saying in Hebrew. Yeah, thank you.
I like the 2D representation. Chen likes the 3D one, but it doesn't matter.
It was my idea. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So we can see it in 3D if that's the way you like it also. So again, this is the business picture. But now when we see those colors here that indicate some kind of potential incident, this is where the cyber begins. And now we can actually see how the cyber affects the business. Because if I see, oh my God, here in the SecOps, I can actually see a lot of different colors. Oh my God, something is happening in my SecOps and I need to start investigating it in order to prevent any kind of damage to my service. So everything here is super easy to understand and clickable. So if let's say, for example, I have something going on in my HR and recruitment process, I can simply click it. You see why I like the 2D thing?
It takes forever.
It's better. Yeah, the 3D is. Yeah, I'll go to the 2D so things will go more smoothly. Because 3D takes a lot of toll on the RAM. Damn. 1 second.
So while you're doing that, I just want to clarify this. From this view of the CRAM, which is the business view, you can go to the bit and byte cyber.
Exactly what I wanted to show. For example, I have the SecOps. They are totally reliant on the internet connection, because without internet connection, I cannot provide my ongoing SecOps services. So if I have an interruption here, some kind of case, some kind of alert, I simply click it. I can see what's going on. Something suspicious with my 365 service. I click it again, and I can actually see the case itself. Currently, there's no investigation here yet, but if I had an investigation, I could actually see it detailed here with screenshots and everything that I needed to know. We'll dig deeper into that once we go to the cyber incident management module. So this is the main dashboard. Again, very, very easy to understand, very customizable, gives me the broad picture that I need to see as a CISO. So again, I'm going back to the modules that we looked at earlier, divided into areas of expertise, cyber detection and response, governance, risk management, etc. So for example, let's take a look at the cyber incident and monitoring module.
And before you do that, Ofer, I wanna hold on those modules for a second. You presented a very distinguished and very long list over there. Can you open that? Yeah, just let us take a look at this for a second. Let me ask you a few questions. I understand that modules, some of them are fully developed in production, some of them will be up in production. It looks like you guys are doing everything from everything. Are you trying to boil the ocean?
No. Again, as we discussed earlier, the inception of this system is our frustrations as CISOs. So what we did was basically try and solve this frustration for ourselves. So we took Elastic SIEM system and we built our own SIEM around that one. We took our knowledge with security and privacy compliance and built our own application to provide with that. Same thing for social engineering, for phishing campaigns, etc., etc. So we're not trying to replace those best of breeds out there, your IBM, your Splunk, your whatever, but we are providing all of those capabilities. But one of the main benefits we deliver besides that is actually having everything in one place. This is the main benefit that you can see here, the interconnectivity of everything, the interoperability of everything. So let's say that you're an enterprise and you have unlimited budget. So you have the best of breed of your SIEM, your EDR, your MDM, your IAM management system, your cyber risk management, etc., etc., etc. All of these tools that you're using still work as silos. And once you work as silos, you as a CISO have a pretty tough job. Because what you need to do is every day, you need to look at 5, 10, 15, 20 different systems, if not more than that. Mm-hmm. Each of them give you a very narrow perspective of what's going on in your organization. And you need to compile that into one big picture to really understand what's going on in your organization. And that's before you took the few extra steps that you need to take to do the correlation between what's happening in IT and cyber to what's happening in the business. So once we collect everything to one platform, to one place, you don't need to do that anymore. The system can do that for you. So if you want to purchase those modules from us, we can happily provide them. They're here, they're live, they're working in production. But if you already have your own tools, you have your EDR, you have your SIEM, no problem at all. Just integrate them with our system, give us the data, and you can still get all of those benefits of having everything in one place.
So if I understand you correctly, also, the different modules represent different angles of cybersecurity management. Whether I'm doing, you mentioned EDR, the endpoint detection and response. That's a big one now. It costs an arm and a leg to us CISOs, and we know that because we are CISOs as well. Between Ofer and I there, and Reut here, there are a few roles of CISOs that we hold on a daily basis worldwide. Some of them in enterprises, and some of them in even public companies traded in the New York Stock Exchange. There are different angles here to represent different angles of cybersecurity management that can vary almost on a daily basis, right? One day I can work on my EDR, one day I can work on my risk management, another day, or maybe part of the day, I can work on my compliance, whether it's security or privacy, two different things. And, in another part of the month, I would probably want to run a phishing campaign to just raise awareness with my users. Some of it will be identity and access management, just like you presented now, data governance and data discovery, cloud security. There are many angles here to tackle cybersecurity almost on a daily basis. things that we as CISOs, we experience out there, but what we did here is to put everything in one box and make them talk to each other, make them make sense to each other, to the business before the cyber.
And I think that management is the key word here, because we, as CISOs, we spend so much of our day managing not our cybersecurity, but our tools, the tools of the trade. And using a system like this can basically save 80 to 90% of the time we spend on actually managing those tools, and allow us more time to actually manage the cybersecurity in our organization. So it saves time on the highest tier of my cybersecurity organization, the management, the CISO level. Okay, so just to dive in a little bit to some of the modules, if not all, just to respect everyone's time. This is one of the main modules we have here, the cyber incident and monitoring. Here we can actually manage all of our incidents in the organization. So we can see in the dashboard, again, the high-level data that I need to see at the CISO, the cases by type, the cases by severity, my log rate, okay, how much data I'm actually communicating with my log collector, how many alerts, the trends, and again, everything is clickable to make things very, very easy for me. So I have a lot of low cases.
This one is, also, just let me ask the question here in between those topics that you cover. This is another dashboard, right? We previously saw the main dashboard, what you call the main dashboard, which is customizable. I can add any module that I'm working on to the main dashboard. But here, I'm being more specific. If I'm doing cyber incident monitoring now, then I have the same dashboard now. Later on, exactly. I'm going to do identity and access management. I'm going to have the identity and access management dashboard. So there is the main dashboard, and there are dashboards for every module, right?
Exactly, yeah. And the purpose of that is not only to allow you to get the high-level view for each module, but as you know, if you have a big CISO team in your organization, you have your GRC experts, you have your EDR experts, etc. Right. And you want them to have their own dashboards to manage. They don't need this full overview of everything that's going on in the organization. They need just their specific view for monitoring, for risk management, for whatever it is that they are in charge of in the organization. Right. So again, this is the dashboard for the cyber incident monitoring. Everything is super easy to go through and clickable. So I don't really care, for example, about those low-level cases, but I see I have an elevated case and I want to check this one out. So simply click. I can see the case, click it again, same case as we've seen before. I want to choose another one that has an investigation. Let's see if we can find one. Great. So let's say we chose this case, for example, to focus on, so we can see the description of the case. And here we can see there's already an investigation in process. So we can see what the analyst actually saw. And if the investigation will continue, we can communicate between managers and analysts, and we can add screenshots and pretty much whatever we need to support the investigation. We can dive.
What if I don't have analysts, Ofer? What if this is a great system, but I'm a single person in a very non-techy organization? This is just me and myself running the show. Can you help me with that?
Yeah, so you have two options here. First, the system is built to be very intuitive. So even if you're not a cybersecurity expert or an analyst, you can still use the system as a perfect SaaS solution for your problems. As you can see, everything is super intuitive and clickable and easy to use. But another solution is using our services. So on top of using the system as a SaaS, you can acquire SOC services, some other consultation services. So every module here can be enriched by also using our services.
The people services. So you have people doing analysts, you have people doing compliance, you have people doing phishing campaigns, and you have experts in all those areas.
Exactly. Besides developing the product, we also have, VCs or services that we're providing. And when we do provide these services, we are using the system, the workplace, to provide our service. Well, how do you say? We are using our own product, as you say.
Yes.
So just to finish presenting this, alerts, I can see the alerts that generated the case. Again, click, see 𝗵𝗲𝗄, see the actual technical details of the alert, even the raw file. If I am an expert analyst and want to really dive deep into the case, I can actually see the raw file, the timeline of the investigation, pretty much all of the details that I need to conduct my investigation, understand what's going on. And I can also start my incident response from here in the system. The goal of the workplace is to be the place where you work as a CISO, as a cybersecurity expert in your company. You don't need to go anywhere else to manage your cybersecurity. Even the incident response is happening here from within the system. So let's say I have a malware incident. I simply click it and I can see my runbook. This is the default runbook from the system. We have about 8 of those. If you have your own runbook, simply send it to us and we can upload it into the system and replace or add it to the existing runbooks, no problem. We can go through the different stages of the incident response. Each participant knows exactly what they need to do. They input what they actually did with evidence, with descriptions into the system. The incident manager approves or disapproves or whatever it is that they did. Once we're finished with the first stage, we continue throughout the stages. And once we're done, we simply export a PDF, and there you go, an incident report. If anyone here was actually managing an incident, then we know that generating this incident report is one of the toughest things in incident management.
To tell the story. So
exactly.
I would like to put a pause here on the emergency side, because we're focusing on this side of the workplace, and I know that there's a lot more. Emergency management or incident management is just one module out of 25 that we currently have. Let's focus on the routine work. Let's focus on the. I want to show the integration first.
Yeah, before we jump into that. Exactly. Before we jump into that, an important part to show is the integration, because we put a lot of work into that one. Because one of the frustrations we had was integration process for SIEM systems usually takes months, if not longer than that. With our workplace, it takes 15 to 30 minutes for you to start seeing alerts in the system. So what you basically do, you add your log collector, you have all of the documentation and download files here. It takes for well-versed IT guy or girl about 10 to 15 minutes tops to install this. Once it's done and your virtual machine is installed, simply go to integrations, and we have about 250, I think, integrations.
254.
Yeah, hand counted, yeah. So pretty much everything here. If you want to see your 365 services, you can see them here. Any kind of 40 service, you can see.
So what do you mean seeing here? See them here.
These are existing integrations. All you need to do is add the agent. You have a walkthrough step by step on how to do this. Very simple. Each agent takes literally minutes to add to your log collector, and then you can start seeing your alerts. Very simple.
If I'm comparing this to other products in the market, Splunk, QRadar, and others, how long does it take me as a CISO, as an experienced CISO, Phil? How long does it take you to add log source into your SIEM and make sense and make the business sense in what you see in it? Not just add the source, but make the business sense.
So first, the technical process will take weeks to months. Usually you will need integrators to do that for you, either because you don't have the time or don't have the expertise to do the integration yourself.
That's your personal experiences.
Yeah. And one of the main frustrations will be that once you started the process and want to integrate one of the systems, then you discover that you can't integrate it because the logs are not parsed or whatever it is. And when you're working with companies like that, the IBM, the Splunk, you have no one to talk to. No one will stop everything they're doing and and make the time to integrate this specific system that you want to use. For us, this is very, very simple. This is the way we built the system. Even if it's not one of the 254 systems that we have here, we can easily add it to this long list of integrations. Let's jump to what Han said about actually managing not our incident, but our routine work. Let's take, for example, compliance. I'm sure that many of us have ongoing compliance projects. Again, we have a separate dashboard for this to show the status of our different compliance projects. We can integrate with pretty much any compliance that you can think of from any country in the world. Doesn't matter, US, Israel, I think even from China and Japan, we have here pretty much all over the world. You know, your basic NIST and SOC 2 Type 2 and HIPAA and GDPR, and also regulations from Australia. So all you need to do is click here. You can get some more details on the controls that's required here. You add the standard, and you can then see it here where you actually manage your compliance project. So just to see how that works, we can see, again, this is CyTech live environment, and we are certified for ISO for 5 different standards. So you can see this is at 100% because we were certified about 3 months ago. So what we can see here is basically the entire standard in front of us. If you know how these kind of standards work, so you can see something similar to the statement of applicability, where we are in the process of the project, who is assigned to doing what is the status, if it was audited or not. You can see the different subsections with all of the detailed requirements that you need to meet in order to comply with the standard. Again, every chapter is here, who's assigned to work, due dates for tasks, and one of the things that we really love about the system is that you can actually see all of the relevant evidence for the specific subsection that you are working on. And everything is super easy to see. You can view it from here. Doesn't matter, PDF, Excel, whatever. Here you can see CyTech's information security charter. So what it does is create a very easy process to communicate and collaborate on a compliance project, not only internally, but externally. So if I invite my auditor to do the audit today, all I need to do is give him access to the specific standard that they came to audit, and they can see everything that you can see here. We do an introduction meeting in the morning. They can spend the whole day with the system, view the files, ask any question they want. You have comments here. They can tag us. We get notifications, and we can reply and communicate in the system. At the end of the day, have a summary meeting, and that's it. We have had a lot of audits using the system. It just streamlines the process and makes it really, really, really super easy to do.
Also, a quick question about these modules of compliance. From your experience, what is the ROI on working with these modules versus working with Excel and old school auditing process on compliance?
There's a lot. First, the man hours that it saves. The fact that your project manager doesn't need to pick up the phone or run around the office and chase people to get them, oh, give me the document, where is this, where is that, why didn't you update it, why did you perform the task, follow up, and things like that. Everything is here in the system. So if I am managing the project and I want Chen to deliver me this evidence to support this subsection within 2 weeks, I simply define it in the system. Chen will get a notification. He will know exactly what he needs to do. If he doesn't do it on time, we will get a notification and we can take it from there. But the entire communication process can be streamlined in the system, which saves so much time. And also the audit process itself. It is really, really, really becomes super easy to do those audits like this. And instead of a really unpleasant and confrontational process sometimes with the auditor, where is this document, where is that? And he's questioning you in a meeting and you need to start searching and you can't find it. And most of us have been through this experience. Super easy. He can't hit me with anything. oh, how are you performing article 8.1 in ISO 27001 version 22? Oh, this is how I click here. These are the evidence. Go have fun. Look at the evidence, and you can see everything.
It sounds like you're talking out of vast experience. I'm hearing it in your voice.
Painful experience.
Yeah.
And just to note that we have both security and privacy compliance, and
right. That was my next question. Why did you separate them both?
Right.
Doesn't
so the functionality is about
in general.
So the functionality is about 99% the same. The main difference is the representation in the dashboard. The reason why we separated the two is the way that it works in actual real life in organizations. Because who is managing your security compliance in most organizations will be the CISO, the GRC department under the CISO. Mostly who will be managing the privacy compliance will be your DPO, your legal department, or your quality professionals and people like that. So we
want to let like the two of us, like I'm the security compliance and you're the privacy compliance as the legal guy, right?
Why did you have to do that?
I had to do it. I had to.
Yeah,
that was an open door. I had to enter.
I know. So it creates this separation that helps for better management of those projects. I think that we will show social engineering last, and then we will leave time for questions. Social engineering, as you know, we need periodical phishing campaigns in our organization to make sure we have high levels of employee awareness. We also need to do that to comply with regulations like ISO, like SOC 2 Type 2, etc. And this can be simply done from here, from within the system. Very, very simple. You can see here the history of our campaigns, our top 10 highest risk recipients. Of course, Chen is the star of the show. Generating campaigns from here is super easy and fast. Simply create a campaign. You can either choose from existing templates for your email, for your landing page. You can build your own. You have a built-in template builder in here. You can select your recipients. You can filter them. You can select everyone by department, whatever you want, your click-prone users. You can send all of your emails at once. You can select it, to run for like 3 days. Pretty much however you want it and however you know it from other systems that you know, and get your phishing campaign report once you're done. And here I want to give my last note and maybe then open the floor for some questions. This is a good place to demonstrate the interconnectivity of the system and the benefit it can generate. So we have our SIEM system monitoring the logs and the activity in the organization. It can identify that Chen is now trying to access our environment from an IP that we're not used to seeing him using, some geolocation that we're not used to seeing. And then we can see that Chen just failed in the latest Finnish campaign. He didn't only click the link, but he was also compromised. He actually provided his username and password. And then we ran a threat intelligence scan, and his email was found to be compromised because he used it in some gambling site or something like that. And we can see something weird happening in the EDR, something is detected on his endpoint, etc., etc., etc. So we can see how we're getting indications something is going on with Chen from different systems. What happens now is, because the systems, the different modules communicate with each other, all of those indications can create an actual alert, an actual case in my incident management system. It can also generate a risk because Chen can be a CBF, a critical business function. He is a partner. He is the CFO of the company. Okay, he is a critical business function for CyTech. So it can also create a risk. You have a critical business function here that is not functioning properly. There's a risk for data breach or money loss or whatever else. So this is a good way to show how having everything in one place can generate a lot of benefit just because everything speaks the same language, communicating with each other, and can enrich the data that we get as CISOs.
Okay, awesome. I think when we open this session for questions, why don't you click the 9 dots there and present us the modules so we can see them in front of us. And if you don't mind, I will take the first question here. A question that keeps popping up in every demo, every presentation we make. It smells like you, first of all, it looks like you know what you're doing, and it looks great that you put everything together, but it smells like a lot of money. It smells like, you basically want to take the business from my risk management provider, from my SIM provider, threat intelligence providers, social engineering, know before the COIA, and all these big names out there, identity and access management. It seems like it's going to cost me an arm and a leg here to work with you, simply put, because I assume that your pricing module, and that's the money question, your pricing module is by the module. So you're going to charge me more money the more modules you develop and I choose to use.
So no.
Is that the case?
Okay, no. So the answer is no.
So,
our pricing, our pricing system is very, very comfortable. I would say we don't charge by the model. We charge a yearly license to use the workplace. You get access to the entire workplace, every single module, and every new module that comes to production. Same price. We don't, oh, here's a new module. If you want to use that one, we will bump the price by 20%. No, this is not going to happen. You have the same price. Flat price for the use of the entire system. The only parameter that can change the pricing is the amount of traffic that we're getting if you use our SIEM system. The basic package includes up to 2.5 gigabytes per day, which can easily cover most SMBs. But if you're a larger organization or consume a lot of traffic, then there are tiers from 2.5 to 5 gigabytes, 5 to 10, etc., etc., etc. And again, the bump in the price is not that major. It's not like we go from 0 to 100 as you go through the different tiers. And the other factor that might change the pricing is if you want to acquire additional services from us, like we discussed before. If you want our stock 24/7 service of professional analysts to do the monitoring, then yes, this will have some additional costs. If you want assistance with compliance or risk management, it has additional costs. But the system itself,
just to make it clear, access to the CISO workplace, flat price, one-time fee, let's say for the year, and I will gain access to every module you have today, including future modules you will have within the next 12 months.
Exactly.
But it sounds like a lot of money still.
So again, no. Again, this system was started from our frustrations, and again, you want a simple service and it costs you an arm and a leg. Just using, if I have 100 employees and I want a theme SOC service with an EDR, it can cost me around to $2,000-3,000 a month easily. So the yearly cost for the basic tier of the system, up to 2.5 gigabytes per day, is $2,500 per month, $30,000 a year.
$30,000 a year, and I gain access to everything. I think there's a question on our chat exactly about that. So that's the yearly cost for, let's say, up to 100 users. Yeah, but you have EDR up there. So EDR will probably cost me by the user, right?
No, I don't care how many users you have. You can have 100 users, 1,000 users. You can use the EDR for 550 or 500 endpoints.
Do I need to pay for your EDR?
No, it is under the flat fee that you're paying for the year.
So I get EDR throughout my organization, and I get all these modules open for risk management, compliance, emergency, 24/7 monitoring, social engineering, supply chain, identity and access management, all for $30,000 a year. That sounds like a fraction. That sounds like a fraction of what I would spend on all those vendors together if I would spend all those vendors together. There's another question here. How much for 10,000 employees? That's a big one. So let me answer that one, also, if you don't mind. Our experience with this level or volume of traffic will be roughly around 150 to 250 gigabyte a day. Now, that sounds scary. However, the pricing of what we are seeing here is somewhere between $12,000 to $15,000 a month. So to answer your question on the chat, Mr. or Mrs. 𝗖𝗵𝗲𝗪𝗏, the pricing for 10,000 employees is roughly around $180,000 a year. I hope that answers your question, and that puts the proportion between this CISO workplace and all other vendors. I assume that if you are working in an organization with 10,000 employees, you see the numbers by the 7 and 8 digits of all these vendors, and we're talking about $180,000 a year for all this together. So thank you for the question. I hope I answered your question. We have 3 minutes, and I really want to respect everybody's time and open the floor for questions from our distinguished audience. Anybody with another question? Also, you know what? I'm going to throw it out there. Can I use, if I'm a consultant, or if I'm a company that provides services like vCISO to other companies, it sounds like I can use this system for my services. Is that right?
Yes.
You have an experience with that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. As you see, what I marked up there on our main dashboard is the MSSP in the logo, which means that we are currently doing that. So CyTech is using the workplace to provide our services to our clients, and we're doing that as an MSSP. And it is very, very easy. All you need to do is click here, which client. I won't read that because you can see the client list and this is privileged information, but all you need to do is click here, and you can easily, with a click of a button, switch between clients. And what we do when we work with consultants or larger MSSPs is we provide them with their own MSSP environment for their own clients. It doesn't matter if you have 2, 3, 20 clients, you can use this product as an MSSP. And even further than that, to go back to the example of the 10,000 employees, I guess if you have 10,000 employees, you have a lot of departments that might want to be managed separately. So as an organization, as a large enterprise, you can use your system as a sort of MSSP, but for your own organization, and manage your different departments separately.
Okay, I do have another question, and that will be the last one that I will take on the chat. Again, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Can I self-host this solution? So self-hosting the solution will negate the fact that it is a SaaS solution. We are hosting it on our AWS. What you can do is to host the solution on your AWS environment. However, bear in mind that once you host the solution on your side, you will need to work kind of hard with us on getting the updates and new modules. That's why we highly recommend on leaving it on our AWS environment, because that's going to be transparent to you in terms of updates, new modules, and everything that comes with it. We use AWS for a reason. Very stable, very quick, very much protected, and it's backed with SOC 2 Type 2 and all the ISO certifications. So yes, the answer is yes, you can self-host that. We don't recommend that. I hope I answered the question. Okay, so thank you everyone for participating in this webinar, and we are here to answer any question. Don't be shy, send us an email. Feel free to contact our marketing team, the 𝗖𝗵𝗲𝗪𝗏 online, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. We are always there. Between all of us, there's always somebody awake in CyTech, somewhere in the world, to respond to your questions. We are very excited to what's coming. There are a lot of modules between Ofer and I and our crazy heads to add here to make it more simple for us and to actually move to the future of single platform for cybersecurity management. This is done all over the place in all businesses. Now it's time for us cybersecurity people to also catch up with the world of single platform managing everything that we have. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for participating. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you, Ofer.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, good night, good evening, good morning. Bye-bye.